We're making skirts today. So the materials basically are very simple. This skirt, I don't, is one of those 1950s skirts. I got inspired because this fabric, I got a yard sale and I think it's from the 50s or the print is like that. And so it's just like a waistband and a full skirt, right? So it's basically I already cut it, but what I do usually is I do twice as the size of the hip. So for instance, so I cut two panels, right? And then the length is up to you, how long you want. This fabric was very limited. I didn't have much. So I just thought, I'll do as much as I can, as long as I can. And so I cut two panels that are a little wider than her hips, right? And in fact, this is a little bigger than 6. This is not for myself. I'm gonna put that for sale. So I try to do a little bigger because a size 6 is too limited, right? And then I cut the waistband, which was also like the size of the fabric I could get. And I, then I'm gonna cut this the right size, maybe a little bigger than her waist because she's too small. Um, all right, so then scissors, if you need, it's already cut, but you might trim it. I got this one recently, and those little ones, and they're very like pointy, so I use them a lot. Sewing pins, and the seam ripper. Hopefully, we're not gonna need it. And then I got those hook and eye. When it's this big one. Let me do a close up here so you can see. Um, this kind. So that is what I'm gonna put on the waist. And I know it has like the hook is only one, but I could just make another one by thread or I have a few I can use too, because the idea, since I'm gonna sell this, I like to have like options so the customer can either use a different one, a different length, or just move this around, and then I always leave a little room to fit more than one person. Um, okay, so let's start. I'm gonna leave it on the close up, okay, so you can see the steps. First thing I'm gonna do is, since I have two panels, I have to gather the waist. And um, I have this gathering foot that's kind of crazy. I don't know if you've seen, it's like very, like it makes a noise. I'll show you next time. But and then I would do the whole thing. I would just sew together and then do the whole thing. But for now, since we're live and things could go wrong, so I want to avoid that and to not take too long, I'm just gonna do one per time. So I'm gonna do 2 stitches with the thread very loose so I can pull it, okay? Oh, and if you're watching this replay, say hello too, okay? Tell me, what are you up to? Where are we watching from? Here. So I'm gonna do 2 stitches very on the edge of the skirt. So like here, which would be the waist, right? Be careful to not escape the stitch. Some people do that with a different color thread, because then you can see well, but I like to do with the same one. Otherwise, you have to be removing afterwards, and I like the lazy way. So I'll do another one like right next to it. Okay, one is done. Now I'm gonna do the other one. If you're watching, please share in your groups and everything for me, so more people can see. here it is, right? So I did this, and I'm gonna grab the back ones. Look, the two in the back, and I'm gonna pull it. And that's a little laborious, but there's other ways to do that, which I never tried. People keep telling me is like you can do with a yarn, right? And then do the zigzag on top and then pull it. I should try this. And what I'm gonna do is measure as I gather. I'll measure on her waist, sort of, on the dress form. Okay, so this is like more or less, look, right? Then I'll try on her. Yeah, it's almost this. Look. And so then I'm gonna do the other one. Grab the here from the back. And why it's like the bottom thread, right? That you're grabbing. It's just easy. It comes easily, easier than the top. Can you see there? It's like this. This thing is funny. There. So yeah, almost the same. So this way I can sew them together, right? Right sides together. So now I just have to even out the gathering. See how it's here. So I'm gonna bring from both sides. Okay, so that side, the side of the skirt is cool. Now I'm gonna make sure everything is kind of like even and that the size is a good size. It should probably be a little smaller. I'm saying, let's see how large is this waist. So now is 36. Yeah, I can bring to like 32. If you have questions and you are watching replay, leave a comment with your question and I will respond later, okay? So I have two sides that look similar. I'm gonna do one stitch over the whole thing here just to secure where the gathering is. Make sure everything is like nice. Okay, so that's done. Now we're gonna work with the waistband. So now I can cut out all the thread left over here. I have the waistband, the piece for the waistband, right? And I think I'm gonna do the front a little larger so we can like do juxtapose, right? Like overlaid, and but it's still, I think this is too big. Yeah, I don't need all of that. So I'm gonna cut it out a little. Leave just a few inches extra plus the seam. Okay. And then what I do is that I iron it. Let me turn my iron on. To mark, so I like to mark exactly where the fold is gonna be, and then also you see, so not only the fold of the waistband because I'm gonna fold in two, but also where I'm gonna sew on the skirt afterwards. And I did cut this, you know, kind of wide, right? But there will be like a, I like to have that so it's extra for the seam when I sew on the skirt. Okay, so then what I do is they're wrong sides together, right? Then I'm gonna put right sides together. Here, and then sew right sides together, just the tip, both edges of the waistband. And here, so I'm gonna trim the extra so it doesn't get too bulky inside, and also on this side. So then I flip it over. This I could trim too. Just a little. Poke it there. Right? And the same thing on the other side. Look. And then I'm gonna iron again. So now that's how I mark the fold for the skirt, okay? So basically I'll do this all the way. Do the one side first. Right now I just fold it on top, the other side here. The idea is that they're equal, right? The top and the bottom. Okay, so now I have this good looking thing that's like ready to go on the skirt. The way I do is I sew on the inside of the skirt first, and then I flip it over and sew on the outside. So because then, since the outside is where everyone's gonna see, it needs to be the better looking one, right? I leave that for the last stitch so we can do a nice job. Yeah, that's good. So then I'll start from the inside, okay, the edge of my waistband with the edge of the skirt. And it's not, see how I'm sewing the right side of the waistband with the wrong side of the skirt. I'm gonna start here and go all the way. This is a very, it's like, it takes time, but it's a very easy way to make a skirt. So did you see what I do here? What I done here? So I sewed that, right? The wrong side of the skirt with the right side of the waistband, and now just flip it over, and then I can do a nice stitch outside, right? A top stitch here. Instead of like having to like, because otherwise you have to stitch inside and then the outside is not good. So that's the trick I do to make it look good. Look, it's so cool. Then this one here, and this will go here, right? It's way too big for her, like I said in the beginning. So I'm gonna sew it together and leave an opening, like sort of like this amount. Let's see how much, like 6 or 7 inches. So I'm gonna sew from the bottom up to yeah, 8, if I measure from the edge of the waistband up to 8 inches here. Okay, oops. And that's it, guys. Okay, so there's enough material. I like to leave enough uh, for them, you know, if you're like have a bigger waist, then you could work like this, you know, it's already like closed enough, or you can be like totally wrapped like that, and that's it. There it is. Oh, and then you have to hem it, right? But I believe you guys know how to hem. I'm just gonna fold the the hem, like do a not very wide, maybe like half an inch, you know, fold it twice, and that's it. Okay, and go make clothes. Thank you guys.